and we don't second guess. Unapologetic, we're bold and we're loud, shining light on the left shady crowd. Oreo Express, rolling down the track, exposing the lies, ain't no turning back. Conservative fire, we're speaking the truth. At Oreo Express, this one's for you. So grab your boots, let's take a stand for freedom, faith, and the heart of this land. Oreo Express, let's roll, let's go. So grab your boots, let's take a stand for freedom, faith, and the heart of this land. Oreo Express, let's roll.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. It is still Thursday, May 8th. Hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful evening. It is afternoon, evening for most of you, right? We're at 3:30 in the afternoon. It's getting warm here in Central California. Let's see, it's 89 right now, guys. I don't know if you can see that. 89. And it is expected to get to about 100 degrees on Saturday. Woo-wee. I'm actually testing out the AC for the first time. And trust me, we don't use the AC a whole lot, but I wanted to turn it on today and make sure that it was working for the season. Because there are those days we're going to need it, right? That's why I tell you what, that pool saves us big time. Because is it hot? All right, go jump in the pool, right? Old school, like our parents used to say. Let me jump in the comments. We got some of you already in here. Let's see. Cade, Texas, listening in as the workday comes to an end. There you go. There you go. We got Trina in the house. Hello, Trina. B. Mikey in the house. Hunter. Let's go down. Old Uncle Bill's here. Old Uncle Bill. Dev V. KLM 79. Susan K. Spencer. Lycopodium. Let's see who else is in here. Rob Wallace and other folks joining in. Robert Benji out of Utah. Let's see. Chris B53, Jando, Newfie. We got the Canada in the house. And thank you guys all for tuning in. If I can ask a favor, it would be awesome. And a gift to us if you just hit that like button and share this out. If you don't want to share it out, just hit the like button. Help us out with the algorithms. We just want to be able to get out there. And again, with so much censorship and everything else, even sometimes when you share it, you're sharing it to sites that are going to censor it. Isn't that crazy? God bless X and God bless Rumble for allowing us to do what we do. So earlier in our first show, while we were live, they chose a new pope. And I said I didn't know a whole lot about him. And we're not going to spend a whole lot of time because I see the riffraff online. I don't think it really makes a difference. We are going to talk about some of the things that he has said, some of the things that he has retweeted. It does appear that, again, he's Catholic. Think about it. What was the number one NGO that was aiding and abetting and harboring illegal aliens here in the United States? It was Catholic Charities. And this isn't a bash to anybody that's Catholic by any stretch of the imagination. I had somebody, I think you guys remember when we were down at the border and we had some new viewers, and this lady emailed me, said, I will never watch your show again. I can't believe you act like Catholics are putting these illegals in here. And all I said in the thing is we found some Catholic Charities blankets. And I said, this is your tax dollars, and Catholic Charities are aiding this. And I said, they're not only aiding it here, they're aiding it in South America at all these different stops. I said that this is a very well orchestrated oil and lube plan that Catholic Charities is doing. And so I just sent her back, and I sent her back a couple news articles. I never heard from her again, but she took offense to it. I was like, If I point out the fact that there was an epidemic of pedophilia, that doesn't mean in the Catholic Church. That doesn't mean I'm talking about you or your church, the people that serve at your church, none of that. But I want to show you some of the stuff. This was a Chris Murphy tweet that the new Pope had retweeted back in 2017. It says, "To my colleagues, your cowardice to act cannot be whitewashed by thoughts and prayers. None of this ends unless we do something to stop it." It's almost like he's pro or anti Second Amendment, I guess, if you would see. That was a gun control post. And again, I guess, people keep saying, well, he's from Chicago. He hasn't been in America for a long time. He went off to Peru. They say he speaks better Spanish than he does English now, which is good for him. I mean, he was doing mission work. God bless him. I hope he does well. But he also posted some of these things. This is Robert Previs reposted. It says, saying Trump's bad hombre line fuels racism and nativism. Cali bishops send preemptive blast on DACA repeal. He also did this one. I stand with dreamers and all the people are working towards an immigration system that is fair, just, and moral. Defend DACA. So it's kind of very similar to what we've seen in many in the Catholic churches. I am thirsty. I did a little work outside for my lunch. Weed eated and mowed the back lawn, so that heat out there. Now, again, when we think of just Catholics in general, when we think about what we've seen, the last Pope was pretty liberal. I mean, beyond liberal, if you will. But Charlie Kirk tweeted out this, and again, I think it's going to take time to see. Maybe he'll come out tomorrow and, but I think over time we'll see. President Trump is doing a great job here in the United States of America. Again, we had an invasion going on, and, you'd actually have to think that I can't remember what the name of that Pope was that I thought a lot of people respected. But Charlie Kirk said, our Turning Point Action Team pulled the voting history of Pope Leo. He is a registered Republican who has voted in Republican primaries when not living abroad. Our data shows he's a strong Republican and he's pro-life. I don't know. Maybe that's one thing. So right now, people that don't believe in God on the left, all the influencers and all that, they're praising this Pope and saying, oh, this is so great. But they don't believe in God. They go out there and they are out there chanting and supporting the murder of babies. You're not any part of any Christian style religion if that's what you stand behind. So this one's interesting. Again, we're going to have to see how it works out. Now, if he comes out and says he's pro-life, all these liberals that are so excited right now because, there's a lot of people in the conservative movement putting this stuff out there for the America to see and say, well, you guys can decide. Again, I'm gonna hold my thoughts and everything until action. And when there's action, we'll applaud it or call it out as we usually do on this show. So it's not that big of a deal. And again, thank you for tuning in, guys. We appreciate you more than you know. Again, if you just jumped in here, hit that thumbs up, whatever platform you're watching on, hit that like button because we can't do it without you all. Let me see if something came up here. I was checking something out. All right. The new Pope didn't post in 2024. In 2025, he has posted 5 times. So he didn't post in 2024. Let's see some of those popes or some of those tweets. Man, ever since my computer crashed earlier, it's made me brain dead. So this is one of them. As Trump and Bukele use Oval to Fed solicit deportation of U.S. residents, once an undocked El Salvadorian himself, now DC Ox Evilio, asked, "Do you not see the suffering? Is your conscience not disturbed? How can you stay quiet?" So he retweeted that. Also on February 25th, we continue praying together the Holy Rosary for the health of Pope Francis. Okay, that would be normal. Prayers for the Pope. And gospel about U.S. Then he says J.D. Vance is wrong. Jesus doesn't ask us to rank our love for others. So we'll find out. We'll find out. Again, when he came out and addressed the crowd, a lot of people, I was listening to it in the background. I had my AirPods in. I can't remember what I was listening to, Newsmax or One American News. I can't remember. And they did make mention that he spoke in Italian and he spoke in Spanish. He didn't address anybody in English. So check this out. Some deranged leftist just assaulted Eagle Ed Martin by spitting on him in Washington, D.C. Take a listen to this.
So we need to get really focused.
You are in my end.
Really focused.
You are in my end.
You see that? You would think hopefully she gets arrested. I haven't found anything where she's been arrested or anything like that. He was out there doing a press conference and that happened. Now, I got to tell you guys this one. There's not too often, well, more and more, I guess. I looked at this post and I thought it was a fake post. I thought this was a like a burner account, a fake Gavin Newsom account. And I'm not lying. Look at what he puts up here. This is hilarious. It says, in California, we dream big. And despite Washington outrageous attacks, our California high-speed rail is becoming reality. While we've broken ground on our transformative rail project here in California, Texas high-speed rail has been a failure to launch. And look at what he put up here. He goes, California high-speed rail leaves Texas in the dust. It says 494 miles from San Francisco to Los Angeles, which it won't even get there. It's 27 miles outside of LA and I think even more miles than that from Los Angeles when it's done. It says early operating segment opens 2030 to 2033, which is all a lie. If just in case we cover this regularly, it was passed in 2008. It should have been completed by 2020. Not 1 foot of track has been laid. Let's just go to reality. So when he was saying this, I was like, what? It says that it's created 15,000 jobs. So what he's bragging about is moving businesses and homes out of the way of a high-speed rail that will probably never be built. They used eminent domain. They closed down businesses. They moved families who had been in their homes for 20, 30, 40, 50 years to build this high-speed rail, and nothing's been done. That's what he's bragging about. And then one of the comments is I thought was beautiful. Listen. Whole lot of cement, but no tracks, folks. Whole lot of cement and no tracks. So I thought that was just kind of interesting that Gavin Newsom would post that. And then I found this kind of interesting again when he's bragging against Texas. I think it cost 1/3 for Texas to build a mile of road of what it cost California. And I'm not saying this is the cost. So if it costs $1,000 to build a mile of road, which it's much more than that, in Texas, it's only $333 because of all our rules, our regulations, our red tape, and all the drama that Democrats have created. But you want to listen to ABC7 here? Not a conservative news outlet. Listen to what it says because of Gavin Newsom and Democrats' policies. It says the numbers are shocking. Experts predict SoCal gas prices could soar past $6 a gallon by the end of 2025 and $8 a gallon by the end of 2026. And guess what, folks? It's not due to tariffs. The refinery retreat that could wallop your wallet. We called this. We've been covering this the entire time. We covered all the refineries that said they were going to leave. We covered Chevron leaving with more rules and regulations. We covered this at least 3-4 times a month. We're covering something, and the reason why gas prices is so much more expensive here in California. Now they're saying $8 a gallon. These are experts say $8 a gallon by the end of 2026. Listen to this. I found this also. This is Kevin Kiley, Rep. Kevin Kiley. Listen to this.
Of the disastrous policies that have been imposed. Mr. Speaker, Californians could soon be paying over $8 a gallon for gasoline. That is the result of the disastrous policies that have been imposed by Gavin Newsom and the California legislature's supermajority. The most recent news is that there are 2 refineries that are closing operations in California. The Phillips 66 refinery in LA by the end of 2025 and the Valero refinery by April 2026. These 2 facilities, according to a letter from Senate Minority Leader Brian Jones in California, these 2 facilities produce about 20% of California's in-state gasoline supply. Now, according to a recent study by USC professor Michael Meesh, the effect of this is going to be an increase in gas prices in California of up to 75% by April of 2026. The projections estimate a 33.6% increase just by April of 2025. And by next year, by 2026, we could see prices rising as high as $8.43 per gallon by the end of 2026. This is because we're going to see a severe decline in in-state production. Indeed, it could fall from over 34 million gallons per day in 2023 to just 27 million gallons by the end of 2026. Then you factor in the higher transportation costs. You're going to see Californians not only paying these astronomical prices at the gas station, but it's going to increase the cost of goods and services throughout the economy. Not to mention, it's going to lead to the loss of hundreds of jobs for the folks that were working at these refineries, and the gas that we're now going to have to import from other states or other countries is not only going to cost a lot more, but it's going to be way worse for the environment, releasing way more emissions. The fact is, California already has by far the highest gas prices in the country. We pay over 30 cents more than second place Hawaii, which is an island state. And this is because of nonsensical regulations, including the new fuel standard that was just recently imposed by the Air Resources Board, as well as a slew of other regulations related to the fuel mix and other factors, as well as having the highest gas tax of any state in the country. By the way, you'd think we have the highest tax, we must have great roads as a result. Nope, that's not the case either. We have just about the worst roads of any state in the country. How does that work? Highest taxes, deepest potholes. It is a stark illustration of our state government's utter inability to provide effective service to our citizens. So I am calling on Governor Newsom and the state legislature to take immediate action to prevent Californians from having to pay over $8 a gallon for gas by the end of next year. We need immediate action.
We talked about this happening, folks, and this is not by accident. They do not, I mean, this is the same state that wanted to phase out gasoline altogether. These crazy Democrats, remember, there was an initiative, and thank you, President Trump, but we weren't going to be allowed to buy gas-powered vehicles. So what was it, 2035? After 2035? And so why have gas if you're going to eliminate gas-powered vehicles? This is what we're dealing with. And I'm not against electric cars. I want a Tesla. If any of y'all, enter to win a Tesla and get a Tesla, I want it. I would thank you every day. But the truth is, we don't have an infrastructure for power in California that would even handle that. And we've talked about it numerous times, these refineries leaving. California continues to add new special blends. We have a summer blend. We have a winter blend. We had new regulations just put in. I drove by a gas station today on lunch. It was a Chevron. It's $5.09 a gallon. When everybody else in the country's gas has gone down since President Trump has been in office, since the barrel of oil has went down, like some 20% or something like that, or at least 10%, California gas prices has gone up. Gavin Newsom has constantly said, oh, they're gouging us. They're gouging us. And then all these studies came out about 6 to 8 weeks ago saying it has nothing to do with gouging, that the refineries, the sellers, everybody else are making the same profit in California that they are anywhere else. And it's not a huge margin of profit. But when you have Chevron leaving, you have Valero refinery leaving, we have all these refineries, you can't just up and go. You know how it's just amazing. It's worse than TDS here in California. And I'm going to show you another story about where we live. We live in Fresno County. I live in the city of Clovis. I'm a hop, skip, and a jump away from Fresno. Our PG&E is outrageous. Thank you, Gavin Newsom. Thank you, Gavin Newsom. And I want you to watch this little article here. Whoa, what happened there? He's got all messed up again. Uh-oh, we'll get it fixed. Oh, where'd he go? Here it is. Take a listen to this, guys. Welcome to my world. When I talk to you about my PG&E prices, which is Pacific Gas and Electric, my gas and electric, I'm not making things up.
Really hard to address. He also tells me rates could be coming down into 2020. Fresno Mayor Jerry Dyer responding to a study by CashNet USA showing the city of Fresno with the highest electric costs in the country. According to the study, the average household spends over $3,100 a year on electric bills.
That is on the low side. $3,100 a year is on the low side. I'll tell you what, we don't use, because of what Gavin Newsom has done to the state. 7, 8 years ago, you could come into my house and it would be 110 outside, and you would say, damn, you got it cold in here. And it wasn't crazy. Now you come into my house and it'll give you a little bit of relief, but you can't afford to keep your house cool. I remember my mom, before my mom passed away, and when I knew she was coming over, I'd have to kick on the air lower for her. And you could see it in the PG&E bill. I mean, that's how bad it is in California. Take a listen to this. Most expensive electricity in the country.
Jeff Smith with PG&E, well, not verifying. Study acknowledges costs are high and says air conditioning use is a main driver.
We recognize that particularly in the summer months that electric costs here in the Fresno area can present a real hardship for our customers. And so that's something that we're working really hard to address.
He also tells me rates could be coming down into 2026 to help address the high costs. Similar news is being promised to Mayor Dyer, who tells me when and if that happens, it likely won't be enough.
They're still not coming down at a pace that's going to allow people to feel any type of relief. We have people living in Fresno, 1 out of 4 families live at or below the poverty line. We have had business owners that have had to go out of business because they couldn't afford their PG&E rate.
It's driven so much frustration, the city even explored starting its own utility company over the last few years, but Dyer says it just didn't work.
If it would have been done 40 or 50 years ago, like Sacramento, perhaps it would be feasible. But today, I don't see the return on investment.
And that's not an exaggeration, guys. California is just an example of what not to be. Gavin Newsom is an example on how to destroy a state. He keeps bragging, well, we got the 4. You know why? It's not because of leadership. It's not because of the regulations they've put in. It's not because of all the red tape, Gavin Newsom. It's because we have the sectors we have in California and how many people love California, the weather, everything else. People want to do business here, but you have a lot of businesses fleeing here as well. And I don't know how much longer. We do know some businesses that shut down just because one of the businesses that we frequented, I don't go there as much anymore. They had a, $23,000 PG&E bill last summer, and they've averaged about 11,000. And I was like, even 11,000 for a business. It was a restaurant. Like, holy hell. I don't use a whole lot of stuff here. I got studio lights. I got this. And I'm just amazed at how expensive my PG&E is. We don't use the air. We haven't used a heater. We don't use the heater in the winter. We use the fireplace because, again, don't want to jump up. It's much less expensive. But they're making it almost impossible to live here in this state. Hey, guys, for you guys just jumping in, don't forget we have a raffle going on. We're going to do the raffle this weekend. So if you want to get in, let me show you what the raffle is for right here. I hate when it does that. Maybe I won't. Let's see. So it's going to be for 2 items. One of them is this right here. It's the framed picture. Got 2 pictures in there. I know it's hard to see. It's got the wrap on it. I'm not going to take the wrap off. It's the iconic Trump photo. It's a photo from further away where he has the blood on his face, where he's saying fight, fight, fight. And then it says Donald Trump, 45th and 47th President of the United States of America, born Donald John Trump, June 14th, 1946 at Queens, New York City. The political party is Republican. I call that MAGA Republican. And then it has fight, fight, fight in quotation, and it says Donald Trump, July 13th, 2024, Butler, Pennsylvania. And then on top of that is a little card game. Let me see if I can open this. No, I don't know where it is. I got other junk everywhere. Anyways, I'll have it more ready for tomorrow. It's been a crazy day. But if you guys want to join into the raffle, you can go to Venmo at Oreo Josh, Cash App, $ Oreo Army, or givesendgo.com/Oreo 2024. It is the beginning of the month. We're trying to get bills caught up because we're probably going to be raising money to head to DC for the military parade next month. And the sooner we can raise money, the less expensive the plane flight is as always. So again, the way it works is if every increment of a $10 donation. So if you do $20, you get 2 entries. We put your name in the wheel of names and we'll spin it this weekend live here on the air during a broadcast. And we also have a Zelle link on our website, theoreoexpress.com. There's a donate now button if you use your mobile banking. If you use the mobile banking, then you can go on there and transfer it that way. We appreciate all your support. We appreciate everybody who's entered, and we can't do it without you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And let's move on now. What else do we got? Is it that one? Yes. So take a listen to this.
Pride in their country, and they deserve pride in the waters that we own, that we protect with our military and our Coast Guard, and all of the businesses that prosper along these waters. But Democrats today are outraged. They're outraged because they love the cartels more than any other people in the world, more than the American people. They spent the past 4 years funding and voting for policies that ripped our borders open and allowed our country to be invaded by millions and millions of people. Drugs and fentanyl that murdered over 300 Americans every single day, human trafficking, child sex trafficking, terrorists, and millions of people that we have no idea where they are in the interior of this country. Democrats are outraged today because they are America last, and they hate anything that would give the American people pride. The Gulf of
Isn't that true? So they passed that this
America
morning in Congress, Gulf of America. It says in her comments, Democrats are furious that we want to permanently rename the Gulf of America, but they had no problem renaming military bases and tearing down statues of Lincoln and Washington. They don't hate the name. They just hate America. And I would have to agree. And it's funny. I just want you to, here it is. Watch this really quick. Now, this is a man pretending to be a woman, and listen how she's outraged over a name change.
We are on our way to the House floor to vote on what is possibly the dumbest bill we could be spending our time on, legislation to change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. This is ridiculous. And look, you might think that we're doing this because it's another opportunity for House Republicans to be sycophantic to the man in the White House. But the other reason why we're doing this is, despite how unpopular this name change is, they would rather us be talking about nixing the Gulf of Mexico rather than talking about how House Republicans are trying to nix healthcare for millions of Americans. They would rather us talk about.
I'm amazed. Someone that changed, they think they've changed their sex, still a man, is upset over a name change. Like, literally. You can't make this up. Listen to how he says it.
Or to vote on what is possibly the dumbest bill we could be spending our time on.
The dumbest bill, huh? I don't think Americans think so. And again, it's just because they hate America, guys. They hate everything that's wrong with America. So check this out. More of Gavin Newsom's California here. Crime's down. I mean, the typical talking points of Democrats that never add up. Take a listen to this. This is KTLA 5.
Violence erupted right outside the high school's entrance. 3 students, ages 14. Patel and Kristi, good morning. Police just moments ago confirming that a 15 and 17-year-old male suspect, both students here at Santa Ana High School, turned themselves in overnight. They walked into the police station accompanied their parents, ending that hours-long search from police in this area. This, of course, as friends and classmates are now paying tribute to that 14-year-old victim. They've been placing flowers, candles, and other items here in his honor just outside of the high school. They say he is a freshman here and is described as a kind and funny kid. Let's get you over to some pictures here. Investigators saying that the violence erupted right outside the high school's entrance. 3 students, ages 14, 15, and 16 were stabbed by 2 fellow high schoolers around the time of dismissal. The youngest victim died from his injuries. The other 2 teens hospitalized, but this morning they are expected to be okay. The 2 suspects then took off just moments later. That violence, though, prompting all after-school activities to be canceled. The high school and adjacent middle and elementary schools were blocked off by caution tape. Diana Vasquez is the parent of a freshman who's a friend of the young man killed.
My daughter was telling me that there were some kids showing her videos of what was happening. Some of her friends, they actually saw everything that was happening and they just ran. When she got home with her friends, and then they find out, she was in tears. She was crying. She couldn't believe it. She said that he was a really, really nice kid, that he was never in trouble.
And many students and parents shocked to hear something like this happen and said they were afraid.
Shocked? This is California. Yesterday we covered where an officer was shot. What was in that? I can't even remember where it was at. But officers went in to break up a fight outside a high school. Oh, hold on. All right. Well, hopefully we're back. We cut out. Hopefully we are back. It gave me an error. But yesterday we covered another high school where the one of the people outside fighting shot an officer. Think about that. Think about that for a minute. That is insane. This is going on all the time. Now, are Democrats going to call for common sense knife control? No. It's because in California, they have passed so many bills where you can't kick kids out of school. They can almost do anything they want. You have this restorative justice. Then you have the troublemakers that are disrupting the class, that are a safety threat to other students. They go right back into the school. Because again, it's not about educating. It's about processing them through this system. And many times in LA and surrounding areas, many blue areas, Fresno, it's really about, it's like when we seen USAID and we seen all those NGOs, they cut out the money. That's kind of like our school systems today. They just want numbers going through there. You get paid $78 per day per kid that's in school. That'll get the teachers. That'll just keep people employed. We'll keep pushing our propaganda. And that is absolutely sad. Prayers to the family members of that child. It's just stupid. Okay, what else do we got? Breaking, we covered this the other day that the Supreme Court stated that Trump's order can go into effect, banning transgenders out of the military. It says Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth reportedly sent a memo to the Department of Defense to begin the process of removing transgender service members from the military. The memo reportedly gives the June 6th deadline for voluntary separation before involuntary separation begins. So they all got a month. They got a month to get their act together and get out. I don't think for all those that are sitting there, I actually have seen some posts on some social media, Reddit and some other things where these people were saying they were happy that Democrats were suing because they've been enlisted for a year and they're going to get their transition surgery, their gender mutilation surgery. And there's no way the Supreme Court was going to overturn this. And I was like, guess what? My tax dollars doesn't need to be going to your issues in furthering your mental health decline. It's not going to help you. Get help. That's what we need. We need mental health facilities. We need to make mental institutions great again. Check this out. It says, Donald Trump said, I have spoken with my wonderful Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick, and we agree that the Biden-Harris so-called Digital Equity Act is totally unconstitutional. No more woke handouts based on race. The Digital Equity Program is racist and illegal $2.5 billion giveaway. I am ending this immediately and saving taxpayers billions of dollars. Let me see if I can pull something up I didn't have up yet. I'm going to pull this up, get you guys some. I remember we talked about it when it passed, but I don't have. Let's see. What is going on? Let's see. So we're going to pull up a little information on the Digital Equity Act. The Digital Equity Act, passed as part of the 2021 Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, is a $2.7 billion initiative to bridge the digital divide between the United States Administered by the National Telecommunications and Information Administration, it aims to ensure all individuals and communities, particularly underserved groups, have access to affordable, reliable, high-speed internet, digital devices, and the skills needed to participate fully in a digital economy. It says state digital equity planning. Equity, there's the word equity. 60 million provides funding to states, territories, and native entities to develop comprehensive digital equity plans tailored to their community needs. Waste of money, wokeness. State Digital Equity Capacity Grant Program, 1.44 billion. Distributes funds to states, territories, and native entities to implement their digital equity plans, supporting projects like digital literacy training, device distribution, and broadband adoption initiative. My tax dollars don't need to go to anybody for anything that they can work to earn, right? Wouldn't you agree? Just seeing what else. Individuals. One of my sisters came over, and I've talked about her before. One of my sisters was born deaf and legally blind. Imagine that. And she is completely blind now. She had a degenerative eye disease. So she is deaf and blind. And she's a little bit older than me. And it's amazing what she can do for everything. But when she was here over the weekend, she was talking about some of these services that were supposed to help her out. And she's literally discriminated against because there is programs for the deaf and there's programs for the blind, and you can't interchange them, all the stupid stuff. And she was talking about she's waited 6 years to get something. She lives off peanuts each. This is actually somebody who can't go out and earn a living and can't live a normal life. I mean, literally has to have someone with her 24/7. And it was just interesting listening to that because it's so frustrating. We have all these people that don't want to work, that don't want to do anything, that just want to sit on their beanbag chair eating bonbons and complain and talk about how bad the white man is. When my sister's like, I'll do whatever I can. I'll do whatever I can. And she does. She does a lot of things. And it's just disgusting because those are the true people who are, quote, oppressed. And these government programs, she was talking about the FCC because she has to have a way to communicate. She knows Braille. Well, those machines cost a lot of money. Like, she has a machine that she can go on Facebook and it'll read the post for her and put it in Braille on her machine so she can see what's going on, even though she can't see and knows she can't hear. It's amazing things. And there's just so much red tape and bureaucracy. It's taken her 6 years to finally get approved for this. And I'm like, man, it's just frustrating. It's just frustrating. And then we do stupid shit like this. Check this out. Just in, the FBI has officially opened a formal criminal investigation into New York AG Letitia James for her alleged fraudulent mortgage transaction, according to Times Union. This is going to be great. We've covered this for a while. We've talked about this, and for everything she was accusing Trump of, she's done much worse. And again, I'll just remind her that nobody's above the law. You can scream at the mic all you want. Speaking of screaming at the mic, remember this?
Me to continue to challenge this administration. And you want me to sit in my seat and stand idly by and allow this craziness to happen? You can come after me if you want, but you elected me to stand up. You elected me to use the law. You elected me to go to court. You elected me to continue to challenge this administration. You elected me to stand up for the least of God's children. You elected me to continue fighting on, and I will fight on.
Yeah, you'll fight on. And unfortunately, you know what? Let me pull this up. Her court cost will be paid for by the taxpayers of New York. Watch this. They put a little something. Let me see. Letitia. Democrats pass bill to force New York taxpayers to pay for Letitia James' mortgage fraud trial. It says taxpayers will be on the hook for legal bills New York Attorney General Letitia James racked up during Justice Department probes into her fraudulent real estate dealings. New York's operational budget bill now includes a specific language that she can tap into $10 million fund to cover any reasonable attorney's fees and expenses incurred as a result of her prosecution. Democrats are the slimiest trash cockroaches in the world. I'm going to move this one towards the end. Go back this way. So yesterday we covered some protests. We covered some stuff. Let's see what we have here. Mayor Brandon Johnson backs plan to eliminate Columbus statues from Chicago parks. We just said, it was like, what, a week and a half ago, Trump comes out and said, we're going to make Columbus great again. We're going to bring back the holiday. You know, all these woke leftists hate the man. So they've tried to switch that over, you know, do their indoctrination campaign. Listen to this.
We do have to make sure that our presentation is depicting not just truth, but the best part of our existence, which is our collective humanity.
The Park District is planning to clear away the larger Grant Park statue's base and redesign the plaza as a gathering space that will accommodate temporary artwork.
Temporary artwork, I'm sure. But let's move on really quick. Check this out, guys. Still haven't tried 1775 coffee? Now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped. Only 1,000 units. You're getting the bold dark roast that hits harder than a CNN fact check, the smooth medium roast, and the Vitality mushroom coffee for clean energy and laser focus with no crash. All single origin, small batch, toxin free, and mold free. Plus, you're also getting a gold spoon clip because freedom isn't scooped with plastic, a frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's political opinions, and a black 1775 tumbler that says, I don't take life advice or caffeine from a woke sea witch. It's $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for $99. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble. Wondering if it's actually worth it? Spoiler alert, it is. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something. Just like Rumble does, start your day with coffee that actually backs what you believe. Go check it out, guys. 1775coffee.com/studio. Check that out. Again, if it wasn't for Rumble, we wouldn't be on the line. We wouldn't be talking to y'all. See what else we got here. Oh, we got another protest. We covered the one yesterday. These people have not learned yet, and I promise you they will learn. They're trying to kick off the summer of love. We covered Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Now we're Thursday. Every day we've covered some type of protest that's kicking off. Yesterday it was the pro-Hamas jihadist at Columbia. Many people arrested. And now it says CUNY students have occupied the East Quad lawn at Brooklyn College. And just look at the banners they're waving. Victory to the resistance alongside upside down red triangles. A symbol tied to extremism is on full display. Listen to this.
We are the students. We are the students too. We won't stop fighting. We want divestment now. One. We are the students too. We won't stop fighting. We want divestment now. One. We are the students too. We won't stop fighting. We want divestment now. One.
I guess they better do it for a while. Let me see here. And then there was some video I found over here that showed cops are finally stepping in at Brooklyn CUNY College to deal with these pro-Hamas squatters. And again, these political stunts on our college campuses. Yesterday in the library of that school, it was finals week. People that actually pay the $90,000 a year or the loan for $90,000 a year.
Line up over here. Beautiful sight. Let's go, 14. Line up. Line up.
So let me see. That was all the updated stuff I had while I was working on the show. Let me just make sure that nothing else, that we don't have some great, awesome videos of some justice. Oh, it got wild, guys. It got wild. Take a look. There's hazing and pepper spray. I just want to say something. I've said it for years. Import third world, become third world. And that's what these people are. Third world scum. Send them home.
Get the fuck out! Stop shoving me! Stop fucking shoving me! Back them up! There's nowhere to go! There's nowhere to go! You're breaking the car! Back up! Move back. Move back on him. What are you doing? Sasha, go away. Sasha, go away. Clear up. Don't touch me. Clear up. Clear up. Don't touch me, bitch. Don't touch people. Clear up. Clear up. You're pushing me into the street.
Don't touch people. Move out of the way. Oh, man. These, man, I've been at these, and it's tough not to just get in there and do something. But these people, I hope they're all identified. I hope something happens. I hope these people are charged, and I hope they do jail time.
I'm at the sidewalk. What's wrong with you? I'm at the sidewalk. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
Drag him in. Drag him in. You failed to move. You're going to jail. You would think this was somewhere in the Middle East. This is what unvetted immigration gets you. Bunch of cockroaches.
Careful. Somebody's phone. You fucking stop. Man, fuck you. We are fighting freedom. Back up. Back up. Hey, stop pushing me down.
I'm surprised he didn't have a tramp stamp. Tase him, tase him.
Get that baby out of here now.
Music to my ears.
Get that baby out of here.
Get that baby out of here. You hear him?
You don't want to 7 over the spot, correct?
There's the tasers in him.
Any action more here will put us in more danger. I'm just with you. Control.
No charges will be placed against you. If you refuse to disperse, you will be placed under arrest and charged with disorderly conduct.
So this is, again, they're trying to start the summer of love. I will, again, I would, if we want to slow it down faster, right when they get on college campus, you go there, you tell them to leave. Again, when you have a history of breaking the law, certain groups, there is a restraint on the First Amendment. Time and place can be one of those things, especially with these terrorists supporting jihadists that we've seen on these college campuses. When you're told to disperse, when there is a criminal investigation, when police are trying to do something and you're pushing a police officer, that could be obstruction, that could be felonies. They need to start charging them with that. And then we need a prosecutor to actually do something. And I think with Trump in office, we're going to see something. I am the biggest First Amendment advocate. They can stand out on any street corner. They can do whatever they want. But when we see what they do, where they did over $1 million worth of damage to the University of Washington Tuesday night, they did, I think, over $1 million yesterday. Or no, it wasn't $1 million, tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars at the library. And again, this needs to stop. This needs to stop. Now let's go into some of the hearings. Kash Patel, Kristi Noem, Department of Homeland Security. Take a listen to some of this stuff. We got a couple of them, and then I'm going to tell you what I think about some of these comments.
We've been.
Did Jeffrey Epstein hang himself, or did somebody kill him?
Senator, I believe he hung himself in a cell in the Metropolitan Detention Center.
Are you going to release all the information about that?
Senator, we are working through that right now with the Department of Justice.
When do you think you'll have it done, Kash?
I think in the near future, sir.
Like before I die?
Senator, we've been working on that, and we're doing it in a way that protects victims and also doesn't put out into the ether information that is irrelevant for production of the public, such as CSAM.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So a little bit more information on that. And then Epstein, people are now saying, I don't know, I say give it time, but people are now saying, oh, Kash Patel's one of them. He don't think Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. He obviously has a lot more information than I do. I've always said Jeffrey Epstein didn't hang himself. I thought it was a hit. He had a lot of names of powerful people. They were worried about it. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but when you see these people online and they're like, oh, he's one of them, he's, you know, like almost like he's a Clinton. And I'm like, wait a second, let's see what comes out, folks. There's some bad things with social media. There's a lot of good things, but there's some bad things with social media. How about that? Let's listen to this one. Democrats are fighting for illegal aliens over American citizens. I want you to listen to how Kash Patel responds to some of these questions. I just love it.
Director Patel, you're familiar with the Fifth Amendment.
Yes, Senator.
And it is really the freedom clause of the United States. It was 4 years into being a nation when Congress and the states said, hey, we have to make sure that there's not an over-aggressive government in the future that deprives us of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. And you're familiar that that applies to all persons in the United States.
Yes, Senator.
So there's been a lot of concern about the several hundred immigrants who were swept off the streets of America and sent to El Salvador without due process. And does that concern you?
Senator, I'm not in a position to comment on whether or not they were given or not given due process or are supposed to be afforded due process. All the FBI did and all the FBI will continue to do is arrest those that have violated the law.
Okay, but to arrest, you have to investigate. Have you launched an investigation of this violation of the Freedom Clause of the U.S. Constitution?
Senator, I don't know that I agree with your characterization.
Well, that was my first question, whether or not you agree with the Fifth Amendment and are prepared to defend it. It is your job to investigate crimes.
Yes, I agree with the Fifth Amendment. I agree with the entire Constitution, and the men and women at the FBI decide.
So are you going to launch an investigation of the reported violation of the due process of several hundred individuals?
Again, Senator, it's not for me to call the balls and strikes on it. The men and women at the FBI who are trained to open investigations will make those calls.
So you have no influence over whether an investigation is opened?
I have influence over it, but you're asking me a constitutional question. I'm not a constitutional scholar.
Well, it's actually not it's a question also of law.
But your position is that every one of those individuals is by constitutional right afforded due process. I don't know the answer to that. I'm telling you.
You haven't read the Constitution?
It
says all persons.
I've got it right here, but what you're saying is that every single one of the illegals that was sent down to El Salvador is supposed to be given due process pursuant.
Yeah, that's what the Constitution says. It says
doesn't
no person.
say that.
It does say no person. Yeah, I'll encourage you to read it because it's also been affirmed by the Supreme Court repeatedly. On the case of Miranda versus Arizona, held the right of all individuals, regardless of citizenship status, the Supreme Court in Reno versus Flores. I mean, but it's the plain language of the Constitution. It concerns me that you're not familiar with the core concept of due process applying to all persons as written in black and white in the Constitution.
As the first public defender who's ever served at the FBI as its director, I am more aware of due process than any predecessor in my seat. You are delineating between removal proceedings and criminal acts. My job is to investigate criminal acts. That's what we do.
You are aware that the Fifth Amendment refers to taking away liberty. And when people are arrested on the street, detained and sent out of the country, that their liberty has been taken away.
Senator, that is a constitutional question that you are asking me to answer. It's not for me to answer.
The question has already been answered by the Supreme Court that they're protected. Therefore, it's a violation of law. And it's your responsibility to open an investigation. And you're saying today you will not do so?
I am not the agency involved in removal proceedings. That is a different branch of government.
So if an agency other than the FBI violates the law and the Constitution, you will not investigate because it's a different agency?
I will investigate every violation of law.
Well, you have, but you just said you're not investigating.
No. You and I are in disagreement on what is a violation of law. I have yet to hear from the Supreme Court your position as you have adjudicated it.
Well, very, very interesting, because the Supreme Court's been very clear, and I had heard you were trained in the law, so I expected maybe you would try to uphold it. You also took an oath to the Constitution.
Thank you for the reminder.
Well, it's important to remind you, since you're apparently unfamiliar with the very basics of the core protection of freedom in our Constitution.
What I am familiar with is protecting the American public, and that's what
Let me close with one question, Mr. Chairman. Will you make sure that due process in every action of the FBI is completely honored under your time as director?
Will I ensure that due process is followed?
Yes.
Under the Constitution?
Completely. Send that message throughout the FBI that due process must be followed, is constitutionally required. Make sure that it's done under your direction.
Sure.
Great. Thank you.
Sure. Again, Democrats have perverted a lot of things in our Constitution. One of them, I believe, is the 14th Amendment. And then on May 7 more days, a week from today, the Supreme Court will actually hear the anchor baby clause. The 14th Amendment, which was set up to give citizenship to the children of slaves and slaves themselves. Now you can come over on an airplane at 8 months pregnant, overstay a visa, have your baby here, and that, according to Democrats, that's an American citizen. That's not how our founders intended. And here's another good question. If somebody breaks into our country, murders and rapes and murders somebody, do they get the same due process that American citizens get? I don't believe they do. And that's what the Trump administration is going to be challenging. That's why you had him do that. Listen to this.
You remember Lisa Page and Peter Strzok, don't you? You remember Lisa Page and Peter Strzok, don't you?
Yes, Senator.
Mr. Strzok worked for the FBI. Mr. Strzok worked for the FBI. I think Ms. Page worked for Justice. The Inspector General found in its investigation that they hated President Trump, and they really wanted Secretary Clinton to win. Is that true?
That's correct, sir.
And this would be the same same Ms. Page who sent an email to Mr. Strzok with whom she was having an affair. Trump's not ever going to become president, right? And Mr. Strzok with the FBI, senior official at the FBI, replied, quote, no, he won't. We'll stop it. Did I read that correctly?
You did, Senator.
Okay. Now, Ms. Page got quit before she could get fired. Mr. Strzok was fired. And predictably, they filed a lawsuit because in Washington, it's easier to divorce your spouse than it is to fire a federal employee. Why did the FBI give Mr. Strzok $1.2 million and Ms. Page $800,000 to settle a lawsuit?
Senator, I do not know that settlement was reached in the prior administration.
Who made the decision?
The prior Department of Justice.
Who in the prior Department of Justice?
The settlement for that kind of case can only come from the Attorney General, which would be Attorney General Merrick Garland.
So the Attorney General decided to give Mr. Strzok $1.2 million and Ms. Page $800,000 after they were fired after actively interfering in the 2016 election. Is that right?
My understanding is that was a settlement they agreed to.
Pass me the sick bucket, please.
Man, Democrats don't question that, do they? No, because that was a payoff. That's what that was. They were out to get Trump by any means possible. How about this one? Listen to Kash Patel just rip her a new one. Senator Patty Murray. She wasn't prepared for this, folks.
Investigation of January 6th. That's
1,000 cases against violent.
Well, that's not my question. We know that you.
Well, you asked if I was weaponizing the FBI, and I am not. I'm giving you the hard, concrete examples of the men and women putting handcuffs on bad people, doing harm to our children and innocent Americans. I do not see weaponization.
You have placed on leave FBI employees responsible for the investigation of January 6th. That sounds political to me.
I have not placed anyone on leave who has not violated their ethical obligation or their oath to the
So
Constitution.
if they were investigating January 6th, you believe they were violating an ethic obligation?
Nope. I think the common theme here is you putting words in my mouth, and I'm not going to tolerate it, nor will the men and women of the FBI.
Well, you did place on leave an analyst responsible for investigating Russia's meddling in the 2016 election. Is that politicization? Is that retribution?
No, not if she broke the law or the ethical guidelines. I don't know which case you're talking about, but that's the standard. And we will hold ourselves inwardly accountable, and we will not be strayed from our mission because people think we are politicizing the Bureau. If you want to talk about someone who was attacked by a weaponized Bureau, you're looking at him. And now he's the director of the FBI and he's cleaning it up.
Well, I would just say to everyone who's listening that the FBI needs to be focused on its mission to keep the entire country safe. It should not be weaponized for partisan political gain. Thank you,
We are.
Chairman.
I just love that. I just love that. Way to go, Kash. Man. There was some more here. Same Senator Murray trying to go after DHS Secretary Kristi Noem. Listen to this.
Legal immigration
have a good day.
to house people in places. The grants that you are referencing,
Correct.
the grants that you are referencing have been paused and reevaluated to make sure that they are truly being spent in the way to which created.
Well, these were,
many of these grants were being diverted
Madam
into things they
Secretary,
were never intended.
These funds were passed on a bipartisan basis by members.
Absolutely.
in
And
this
the Biden
Congress.
administration perverted them in how they used them, diverted them to facilitate illegal immigration, to house people in places like the Roosevelt Hotel who held illegal criminals
We're
that took
talking,
the life
Madam
of
Chair,
Lincoln
about
Riley. I
$100
think all of us
billion.
have
It is
recognized that
not
the
credible
victims
to me that
here are
all
the
the
people who have
recipients
died
of
and
that.
lost their children. The
specific-
grant
Just, I love it. I love it. We got more. We got more from Kristi Noem. Check this out. Some other ones. Senator Van Hollen, wasn't he the one that was sipping margaritas in El Salvador with an MS-13 gang member, a human smuggler? Yeah, listen to this.
I would suggest you advocate for them as hard.
Despite what you just said, the federal district court whose judge is hearing this case right now said, and I'm quoting, that the administration has provided no evidence linking Abrego Garcia to MS-13 or any other terrorist activity. I'm not vouching for the man. I'm vouching for his due
Well, yes,
process
you are,
rights.
sir. You've
No,
been
no,
vouching
no,
for
Madam
him.
Secretary, with
I would
respect.
suggest that you defend and
Madam,
stand alongside the victims of
you're-
illegal
this is
crime in
political
this country,
rhetoric.
the citizens who live here and
Do
are
you-
United States Americans. I would suggest you advocate for them as hard
Madam
as you would do
Secretary,
for foreign terrorists.
I know you're doing a political.
Listen to that. You should advocate for United States American citizens as hard as you do foreign terrorists. Boom.
Speech
No,
here.
I'm
I
not,
get it.
sir.
I'm
You have
asking questions of law. No, you're just
I
spewing
truly
rhetoric.
believe this. I
Well, you're
truly believe
spewing
this
rhetoric.
as an
Let me ask
American.
you this.
So that didn't go too well. I mean, they're getting cooked up there. Democrats are looking bad. Democrats continue to look bad. Listen to this right here. You gotta love Senator Kennedy.
Nobody is that
I just love it.
incompetent.
He's like that crazy
Either-
uncle when you were growing up, huh? Listen to this.
For President Biden and the Democrats who open borders are the people that President Biden put in charge of securing the border you wouldn't trust to run a snowball stand, right?
That is correct.
So nobody is that incompetent. So it has to be, they just believe in open borders, do they not?
Yes, because I know the people who were securing the border and they weren't allowed to do their
Do
job.
you think they believe that vetting people at the border is racist?
Yes, I do. I think by the way they allowed people in and granted them immediate parole status.
Do you think that President Biden and some of my Democratic colleagues, I don't want to paint with too broad a brush, Madam Secretary, thought of these foreign nationals in our country illegally as potential new voters?
I do, sir.
And I want to be sure I understand, because there's been a lot of confusing testimony here. You've secured the border, have you not?
This administration has. Yes, sir.
And some of my colleagues are upset with you.
Yes, sir.
And they say you did it wrong.
Yes, sir.
And do you agree with me that what they're really upset about is that you did it at all?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely epic. Absolutely epic. Oh man. Oh man. It's just so refreshing at times. It's so refreshing. That we're hearing this stuff. I think we got let me see what else we got. I think that might have been it for that. Let me see what's over this way. That one we're gonna close out. That one. Put that one back there. Take a listen to this right here. Tennessee officials planning to give illegal immigrants warning to hide ahead of planned ICE raids. Hopefully Tom Homan is already working on this. Take a listen to this.
And whether some of our local leaders
Democrats
are promising to notify illegal immigrants if there is an ICE operation on the way. Now, there are lawmakers who say that would be aiding and abetting a criminal act. Congressman Andy Ogles and John Rose, who both represent Tennessee, say they are watching how these immigration crackdowns play out and whether some of our local leaders try to hide people in advance.
Now, they say that these raids are necessary to keep Tennesseans safe. There's also some very harsh criticism of the Nashville Mayor, Freddie O'Connell.
Individuals that were linked to Trinidad, you've got human smugglers, a rapist, child sex offenders. They had illegal guns. And these are criminals. And so when you have the mayor of Nashville coming out and defending those individuals, attacking ICE for doing their job.
So we'll see what happens over there in Nashville, Tennessee. I think they're going to have a rude awakening. And then how about this? This is from Libs of TikTok. It says, for weeks, the legacy media, the fake news, pushed a propaganda campaign about a Georgetown scholar, Badar Khan Suri, who was detained by ICE. Turns out, according to DHS, the Georgetown scholar is the son-in-law of a senior advisor to Hamas and was actively spreading pro-Hamas terrorist propaganda on social media. And this just goes through some of those, again, what people see that don't watch our podcast or other things, actually do some research of their own. Look at that. U.S. government cannot deport Georgetown scholar. They got all these names, the Maryland dad, all these things. It says what we know about the case of detained Georgetown professor, Georgetown alumni and students call for the release of scholar. It's just amazing. That's the propaganda. They are on the side of, they don't care what these people have done, what type of relation or ties to terrorism they have. They just want America to lose. They want Donald Trump to lose. They want me and you to lose, those people that want to make America great again. And I just think it's excellent that eventually the truth comes out, but the damage has been done. Until we can hold legacy media accountable, whatever that means, we're going to be in for it. I'm going to show you one thing. Hey, you know what? I seen this. Oh, where'd it go? I seen this yesterday and it was sad. I grew up listening to this band. They were one of my favorites. I've been to this concert back in the day. And I didn't know, because I'm not one of those people that know anything about the musicians or movie stars. I don't look into any of that. But the lead singer of Three Doors Down came out with a message. And then I started looking at it afterwards. And I called Rachel in here because she knows I still, when I go to the gym, Three Doors Down will definitely be in my playlist. I want you to listen to this, but I want you to listen closely to what he says about, because you're going to see a faithful man here.
Hey everybody, it's Brad from Three Doors Down. I hope you're having a great day today. Got some not so good news for you today. And so I'd been sick a couple of weeks ago and then went to the hospital and got checked out and had actually got the diagnosis. Had a clear cell renal carcinoma that had metastasized into my lungs, and that's it's stage 4, and that's not real good. But you know what? We serve a mighty God, and He can overcome anything. So I have no fear. I really sincerely am not scared of it at all. But it is gonna force us to cancel our tour this summer, and we're sorry for that. And I'd love for you to lift me up in prayer every chance you get. And I think it's time for me to maybe go listen to Not My Time a little bit, right? Thank you guys so much. God loves you. We love you.
I just that part, it just hit me when I seen that, because again, I don't follow. I've been to multiple concerts, but like I don't know anything about these people that sing or anything, movie stars or anything like that. And I seen this and I started looking, and then some people had some video where he's been up on stage. And I don't remember this to the concerts I went to, but almost preaching up on stage, talking about how God is good. And I'm like, man, that's amazing. It gives me that much more respect for somebody, and prayers go out to them. Stage 4. But again, we serve an almighty God that can do anything. So when I heard that, I was like, wow. Let me see if anything else has popped off. Looks like we got 9 minutes till we get the 1.5 hour mark. I want to see if anything new has been popping off. We've already seen the violent clashes outside of the Brooklyn CUNY campus. Let's see. I just love this. Let's see. Setting up, just seeing if anything else.
Okay,
So O'Keefe Media Group, remember, it was a dud yesterday, in my opinion. You know, going undercover or going dark for 7 days, coming out and people thinking he had the holy grail of like insight. Now he says AG Pam Bondi was covertly recorded on April 28th, revealing previously undisclosed information about the Epstein regarding tens of thousands of videos of little kids to a complete stranger in a DC restaurant. Yesterday, the AG made the almost identical statement publicly after O'Keefe Media provided a quote of what she said and a request for comment. Take a listen here. This is some video they got. Maybe this is a little better.
Attorney General of the United States Pam Bondi was at the White House and disclosed what she represented as brand new information in relation to Jeffrey Epstein, the existence of tens of thousands of videos featuring little children.
There are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn.
Now, this is the first time an official has publicly acknowledged that videos of Epstein and his victims exist. What you may not know is just 9 days prior, the Attorney General had a very similar conversation with a total stranger in a restaurant.
Do you know when the Epstein files are going to get released?
We hope soon. The FBI's been.
Okay.
So.
Any dates?
No, you know what it is? There are tons of thousands of videos.
Yeah.
And it's all with little kids. So they have to go through every one.
In the past, officials have spoken about the, quote, mountain of evidence in the Epstein case, but they've never, previous to that moment, acknowledged on the existence of videos of, quote, little kids. Just a few days later, at 2 p.m. on May 1st, our reporter sent the AG's office the text of the recording. We asked why this detail had not been disclosed to the public, but was instead being told to a random stranger at a restaurant. The attorney...
Again, this is a nothing burger to me. A random stranger. It's a constituent and a United States citizen asking the sitting AG a question. I don't think she said anything inappropriate. Again, there's a lot of stuff that I think that if they do have all this information, I think things will come out. Maybe not the way we want them to, the way you want them to. We might have different opinions on that, but yeah, not too impressed. Let's see if anything else is coming out. Latest, President Trump says he will appoint Fox News host and former prosecutor Jeanine Pirro as interim U.S. Attorney of the District of Columbia. Trump announced the pick in a post on Truth Social. I don't know. We'll see how that works out. He loves people that are in the spotlight. You know that. Let's see. Big Tish, Letitia James, now that the FBI has reportedly launched an investigation into her fraud, is saying it's politically motivated. Literally, she did a political hit job on Donald Trump. He did everything that every business, every investor has done for the entirety of their career. But he paid off a bank loan earlier than most, and he was punished for it. So listen to this.
In this brownstone building in Brooklyn that she owns, you have a lower number. It's really a fascinating, Liz, because reports say New York State Attorney General Letitia James, well, she's under investigation by the FBI, but her lawyers are calling it politically motivated. James is said to be the subject of a wire, mail, and bank fraud criminal referral to the Justice Department. All over allegations she has committed mortgage fraud. She's accused of listing a house in Virginia as her primary residence, even though, she serves as the Attorney General of New York State. That's in Albany, 500 miles away. James is also accused of falsifying the number of units in this brownstone building in Brooklyn that she owns. You have a lower number of units, you can qualify for a lower mortgage rate for that property. The Attorney General has called the accusations baseless and says President Trump is targeting her for winning that massive civil fraud case against him last year.
This is nothing more than a revenge tour. This is nothing more than vindictiveness.
Oh, man, I can't wait to see her in cuffs. Wait to see her in court. Remember all the smirking? We covered that court case every day. We were actually in New York. We went to New York. That's where we caught our good friend Robert De Niro. Just absolutely insane. Let me do this really quick. Check this out, guys. If you're looking for a great place online for news, discussion, and entertainment, then check out Truth Social, Donald Trump's social media website. You'll get breaking news stories and commentary from top media figures. If you want to see Trump's legendary Truth Social post, then get on Truth Social today. Join a growing community of patriots on a free speech platform designed to avoid censorship and cancellation by big tech. Make your voice heard. Join the movement. Join Truth Social. So go check that out. Follow us if you go on Truth Social. We're actually at Oreo_Express on that one. So see what else is down here. So I want to say thank you guys all for tuning in. We got T-ball practice in about an hour. If anything breaks when I get home, I will go live. I still got to do a premium one evening this week for all my premium subscribers, all the Rumble premium subscribers. We thank you. It helps us out tremendously, keeps the show on the air. So thank you for being a Rumble premium subscriber. If you are not, you can sign up on our page. We actually get some of the credit for it, and it helps us out as well. So let me see something. Make sure there's nothing I'm missing. What? Kaden. I don't know what he said. You throw what away? Oh, dinner's almost ready? Come here and say hi. You guys got to see this. He's been out in the pool all day. Say hello.
Hello.
You like to say hi to everybody? Yeah, you want to hear a cool song? Let me see if I can pull it up. Where's Got to open up Finder. There it is. Listen, what do you think? You going to dance to it?
I know what it is.
You don't know what it is? Here.
Hello. Daddy.
Oh, here comes a song.
Dad, do
Well, hop aboard the Oreo Express, where truth don't hide and we don't second guess. Unapologetic, we're bold and we're loud, shining light on the left shady crowd. Oreo.
Oh, well, you just shut it down. All right, guys, we will see you later. Again, have your notifications on. Thank you so much for tuning in. Dinner's almost ready. You heard it. So we're going to eat dinner, and we're going to run to T-ball practice, and we will see you guys soon. God bless.
Rolling down the track, exposing the lies, ain't no turning back. Conservative fire, we're speaking the truth. At Oreo Express, this one's for you.